Hello, Paranormal Poet. My name is JD, and this experience happened in November of 2022. I live in Alberta, Canada. At the time, I was home alone. My parents had gone out for the night and weren't supposed to be back until late. It was around 5 p.m. in the evening, and it was beginning to get dark. It was one of those cold nights, the kind where the dark feels heavier than usual, and the wind outside almost makes you feel like you're being watched. Around this time, I was just upstairs in my room, doing what I usually do. Playing video games, scrolling through TikTok, just trying to pass the time. And that's when I heard a knock at the front door. At first, I didn't think anything of it. I figured maybe my parents got home earlier than expected. But as I sat there, something about that knock felt off. Still, curiosity got the better of me, and I went downstairs to check. When I got to the door, I didn't open it right away. I just kind of stood there for a second before saying, hello? That's when I heard a voice from the other side of the door. A man's voice. JD, open the door. And the second I heard it, I froze, because that voice, it sounded exactly like my brother. The only time my brother came home was for family emergencies. This didn't make sense. My brother lives in New Brunswick. He's literally on the other side of the country. My heart sank. I just stood there, not saying a word. Something inside me told me not to open the door, no matter what. And then, whatever was on the other side of that door, it growled. Not like a person clearing their throat or something. This was a low, animalistic growl. Something that should not have been human. Before I could even react, the door suddenly shook violently, like someone slammed their whole body against it. I didn't wait to see what would happen next. I turned and ran upstairs as fast as I could. My heart pounding. When I got to my room, I locked my door and immediately texted my brother. I asked him if he was home, if he was in Alberta, if he was somehow at my house. No response. I stayed locked in my room, completely terrified, waiting for any kind of reply. Eventually, my parents came home later that night, and even though I felt safer, I didn't tell them right away what had happened. The next morning, I woke up and finally saw a text from my brother. Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was busy last night. I've been in New Brunswick the whole time. I haven't left. That response chilled me to the core. That's when it hit me. Whatever had been at my door, it wasn't him. It wasn't human. Now here's where things get even worse. The area around my house is known for skinwalker sightings. It's kind of rural, with patches of forest, and at night it gets so dark you can barely see anything, not even your hand in front of your face. I'd heard stories before about things out there that can mimic human voices perfectly, trying to lure you outside or get you to let them in. And now I know those stories are real. From all the stories that I've heard, the Skinwalker is the only thing that answers all of what I experienced that day. I don't know what would have happened if I had opened the door, but I'm so glad I didn't.
This happened in the summer of 2007, and I swear on everything that I love, it was real. I haven't told many people because, well, who would believe me? But that night changed the way I see the world. I was alone on my grandparents' ranch in Arizona, not far from Navajo Nation land. They had gone out of state for a week and asked me to watch over the property. It was peaceful out there, quiet, miles of open desert, Nothing but the sound of the wind at night. The first 2 nights were normal, but on the third night, something changed. I woke up suddenly. No dream, no noise. Just that weird gut feeling that something is wrong. It was dead silent. No crickets, no coyotes. Just this unnatural stillness. I didn't move at first. Just laid there, listening. Then I heard it. A scraping noise. It started near the front of the house, slow, like claws dragging against wood. My whole body went ice cold. I held my breath as it moved along the side of the house, steady, deliberate, like it knew I was inside. And then a voice, right outside my window. It whispered my name. Jason. It was my voice, but twisted, stretched, wrong. Like something was trying to sound like me, but didn't quite know how. I felt sick. I wanted to look, but I knew I couldn't. Every nerve in my body screamed, "Do not look." I gripped the blanket, staying perfectly still. And then the front door handle jiggled. Slow, deliberate, testing it. Something was trying to get in. My grandpa always kept a rifle next to the bed. I grabbed it, my hands shaking so bad I could barely hold it steady. I aimed at the door, not breathing. Then laughter, but not human laughter. It sounded layered, like multiple voices at once. A deep growl, a high-pitched giggle, and something inhuman. It moved fast, circling the house, scratching at the walls. Then I heard a thud on the roof. Something big had just landed up there. I didn't dare look. I just kept the rifle aimed at the door, whispering every prayer that I could remember. I knew the stories. Skinwalkers. They mimic voices. They lure you outside. If you acknowledge them, they own you. I clenched my eyes shut, waited, and then silence. Not even the wind, just nothing. I don't know how long I stayed like that, probably until dawn. When the sun finally rose, I forced myself to go outside. There was nothing, no footprints, no sign anything had been there, except the tracks in the dirt. They started as coyote prints, but halfway across the yard, they changed into bare human footprints, leading away into the desert. I packed my things and left that day. I never spent another night alone at that ranch. And to this day, I never say my own name at night, because I know now something else might say it back.